A big loss for Democrat redistricting at the Supreme Court and a win for common sense. Are they turning James Comey and Jimmy Kimmel into martyrs and heroes to the left? Let's talk about it. Here we go.
Let's go.
So ruling out of the United States Supreme Court a short time ago, earlier today, it has to deal with Louisiana and a congressional district that was created specifically for race. It was a race-based congressional district, and the Supreme Court, in an opinion authored by the great Justice Samuel Alito, Jersey guy, not for nothing, said, no, can't do that. That's racist. That's discrimination. And you can't do that. Now, the effects on this are going to go well beyond Louisiana. A lot of districts around the country have been purposely districted because of race. And today the Supreme Court said, you can't do that. This is 2026. This isn't the 1950s anymore. You can't do this stuff. So you got to cut it out. So the effects on, we are in primary season. We're heading into midterm elections. The effects on that, we'll have to see what this means for other districts around the country. But it's not just a specific ruling for that specific district in Louisiana. So big win there at the Supreme Court today. We'll have more on that. I have not had a chance yet to read the opinion, but it was a 6-3 majority opinion. And you can imagine the 3 that said no. Shocking, I know. But the other 6 who understand the point of this say it's very simple. States don't have the right to discriminate against people. If you make a congressional district that is purposely for Black voters, it's no more or less racist than if you make it specifically for white voters to ensure that there be a white person elected to Congress. It's moronic to think otherwise. And again, whatever remedy was put in place at one particular point in time, the need for that remedy is not there now. We've had a Black president. We've had Black members of Congress. We have Black senators. We have a Black member of Congress running for governor of Florida, but he's a Republican. So it's not like the left would support the guy and say, hey, it'd be great. Like Byron Donalds would be fantastic. I mean, a Black governor of Florida, let's do this. No, they'll do everything they can to work against him. Just like whenever a Black person runs for president who's a Republican, this is not really ever about race when it comes to the Democrats. It's about party. You know that. And that's why that's why the old white guy got the nomination in 2020, Joe Biden, and not the woman who became his running mate, even though she was apparently discriminated against by the likes of Joe Biden. She was that little girl in the school bus, Joe. So that was a big win today at the Supreme Court. But there are other things to talk about. First of all, the indictment against James Comey, which came out yesterday during the show. I honestly didn't want to talk about it because I was so happy with the indictment against Fauci's little minion, which is not getting nearly enough attention, in my opinion. But this is huge. I mean, this is great that they finally got this guy, and they're going to get this guy for lying about the origins of COVID-19, for purposely hiding his emails from the public, evading the Freedom of Information Act. I don't need to rehash yesterday's show. If you missed it, it is there for you on podcast and, of course, on our YouTube show, youtube.com/@RichZeoli. Please subscribe. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, which is great. Baby steps. Like I say, slow and steady wins the race. But I didn't want to take away from that, from the stupid Comey indictment, because it is stupid. Look, I'm not a fan of this guy. I think this guy's a tyrant. I think James Comey has abused civil liberties, and I think there's plenty of reasons to go after James Comey that are legitimate and have to do with James Comey abusing the civil rights of American citizens, including Donald Trump. He's a tyrant, and he hates the Bill of Rights, and he's gone after many different groups and many different people, and the man is not a hero. But the seashell thing is stupid. It's just stupid. And the indictment's not going to work. They're not going to get him on this for a variety of reasons. And look, I'm not suggesting here that I don't know his mens rea when he took the picture of a seashells on the beach that said 8647. And I'm not here to defend James Comey. I'm really not. I'm here to say that indicting him over it is stupid. There are other things to indict him over. The 8647 thing, the problem is this. If you go after Comey, you've already gone after him once and he beat that rap. You go after him again. If you don't get him, all you do is empower the guy. And you got to be airtight on this. And you got to prove that James Comey was purposely saying when he took the picture, he wanted someone to kill Donald Trump. And he took it down and he said he didn't realize what it meant. So you're starting with that problem already as you go down the indictment. Now, you could say that that's stupid. Everybody knows what 86 means. But actually, true story, I was out to dinner the other night and I was a waiter and saying 86, like 86 the scallops. The restaurant that I was at ran out of scallops. So we were sitting at the chef's counter. I like doing that. I like that. I'm a big fan of the chef's counter. I like seeing them cook. I like seeing them cook the food. And they ran out of the scallops. They go 86 scallops, meaning there's no more scallops. Now, you could argue that that means that all the scallops have been killed off by the diners. So yeah, you could say 86 means to get rid of something, but there are lots of ways to get rid of something. You can 86 somebody by removing them, impeaching them. And that's the problem, is that it's a gray area. So now you get into the First Amendment, you get into free speech rights. Is it really a threat? Is it an idea that you're saying you want to get rid of the guy, but there are means to get rid of him that are nonviolent and totally legal, like say impeachment, for example. And this is why it's a murky area in court. And that's why, unless you have a rock solid case like that, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it when it's not so specific and you leave all this gray room? Because then if Comey gets off again, now you've just empowered Comey. It's the same problem you have with Jimmy Kimmel and the FCC going after Kimmel. Look, I hate Kimmel. I hate Comey. I hate Comey. You have to realize something too, and this is why we probably won't post this as a social media clip, because people don't understand context, and you do. And you're a smart person and you take the time to analyze and think about things. And we live in a day and age of 30-second sound bites and nuance. And somebody could easily just hear that and be like, oh my God, listen to this guy defend Comey. I'm not defending Comey. I hate Comey. I think Comey, Brennan, and Clapper are three of the worst deep state hacks who've ever been. And I think Robert Mueller, although I would not necessarily celebrate anyone's death, because that comes from being Italian, and my grandmother used to always say you don't speak ill of the dead, so that's a whole other thing. But these people were deep state hacks. I mean, Ruby Ridge, for example. I have no use for these people. Their abuse of liberties, their abuse of the Constitution, their abuse of the Bill of Rights. That said, if you're going to go after these people with prosecutions, you got to get it right. You got to get it right, and it's got to be rock solid, and it's got to be for the stuff that they really did. That's why I think the indictment yesterday of this Fauci minion is beautiful. It's perfect. It's like an airtight indictment. There's no question this guy lied about the COVID origins and covered it up and purposely was trying to evade the American people and evade the Freedom of Information Act and lie to you and lie to me and help this scumbag Peter Daszak with EcoHealth Alliance make all this money on grants and everything like that. Rock solid. It's a rock solid case. But 8647 with seashells on a beach and a picture that the guy deleted and said he didn't know what it meant, you're already starting behind the eight ball because of that fact in court, and the fact that 86 is commonly used in restaurants, and the fact that we've had people on our side of the aisle who said 8646 about Joe Biden. I don't want to see them go to prison. Like Jack Sobiak put out that tweet yesterday. And I mean, not yesterday. He put it out when Biden was president. And everybody was retweeting that like, are they going to indict Sobiak? I hope not. And they shouldn't, because it's stupid and because you can make the argument that 86 means remove. 86 means impeach. 86 means don't reelect. Well, whatever it is. Unless you could prove the mens rea of, yes, I'm hoping that this means murder and that somebody will interpret this as killing somebody, then it's very tough to make a conviction in court. All of these things are driven by a conviction in court unless the process is the punishment. Okay, so let's look at it from that angle for a second. Do I think you're going to get a criminal conviction out of James Comey for that, posting that picture? I do not. No, I don't. I don't think so. So whether or not the argument is that some whack job could see that and think to go kill President Trump, is not the question. The question is, can you win in court? That's it. That's the question. When prosecutors take these cases, can you win in court? I don't think they can. I think there's too much gray area. I think it's the eight ball stacked against them. So then you go, all right, the process is the punishment. We know the guy's a scumbag. We want to get him and make his life hell. The problem, though, again, becomes guys like him love the attention, love to grandstand off the attention, and love to be heroes and martyrs to the cause of, like, I'm standing up to Donald Trump. So then if he wins again by either a court throwing this out or a jury rejecting and saying he's not guilty of the government's charges, then you wind up making the guy into more of a martyr. Again, I'm not defending this scumbag. I hate the guy. I really do. Like, I hate him. Him and Brennan and Clapper. In my opinion, all three of them deserve to be in prison. They've all violated the Constitution. These are hideous human beings who they're deep state creatures. They have done things that have eroded the concept of liberty to such a degree and spied on the American people and weaponized government and all these things. But you got to get them the right way. And if you don't, then you just wind up giving them more airtime on MSNBC and CNN. That's the problem. So, all right. So first of all, let's hear the prosecution. This is the DOJ announcing the indictment of former director James Comey. I personally think Todd Blanche sounds a little uncomfortable here. I think even he knows this is a weak case. I think it's nervous because now he's the acting United States Attorney General. And if there's an L, the L's on him. I don't think he wants the L. But I also think that, this started before him and the grand jury returned the indictment. As they say, you're a grand jury, you can indict a ham sandwich. So, this is what they said.
Same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years. So I think it's fair to say that threatening the life of anybody is dangerous and potentially a crime. Threatening the life of the President of the United States will never be tolerated by the Department of Justice. Over the past year, this department has charged dozens of cases involving threats against all sorts of individuals. We take these seriously, every single one of them.
Yeah, but you have to prove that he meant it as a threat. And that becomes the problem, is that it's not as black and white and clear cut. It's subject to interpretation. That's the issue. And then if you lose, then you turn Comey, who's a scumbag, into a hero. And this is what Comey said in response. Go ahead.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And
your Department of Justice
we get closer every day to restoring those values.
Okay. All right.
Keep the faith.
Your Department of Justice went after an innocent person who did not collude with Russia, and your Department of Justice pushed this phony dossier and tried to bring down a president of the United States. And that's what you should get indicted for. That's what you should get indicted for. And I hope you do. I really do. I hope you do. I hope Tulsi Gabbard is able to find all the goods on you and colluding with your little buddies, Brennan and Clapper and Obama and all the other people as you try to stop an American citizen from becoming president. And then you tried to bring down his presidency, and you knew it was a lie, and you pushed it and you allowed it to happen, and you gave it oxygen, and then you kept pushing it. And by the way, you interfered in the election with your little stunt with Hillary Clinton, and you did. But that's what I hope they get you for. And what I'm saying here, and I think it's very clear what I'm saying here, is that the risk right now is that he's going to wind up winning again in court, or not even in court. He might win outside of a courtroom because the judge may just dismiss this. So this is when you have to be very careful about this kind of stuff. And it's the same thing with Jimmy Kimmel. Look, I hate Jimmy Kimmel. I really do. I hate, maybe hate's a strong word. I find him to be not funny and a phony. And I find Jimmy Kimmel to be the kind of guy that the free market is doing to Jimmy Kimmel what he deserves, which is that he's not very talented. He's a bitter guy. But when the FCC goes after him, there are people out there who are like, "Oh, the government's coming after me. Look at me. You know, I'm punk rock. I'm the hero. It's what Howard Stern did in the 90s when the FCC was coming after him, and he was like, "Look at them coming after me," and then, you know, using that as a tool. It's the other problem is that Jimmy Kimmel, if left to his own devices, that show goes off the air. That show will end and goes away. If the FCC is looking into the license of Disney and looking at the renewal of ABC, because that's the parent company Disney, because it's ABC, Disney, China. Ultimately, China owns, that's the parent company. And then people turn around and they're like, "Yeah, man, fight the system." That's the other problem. The worst thing for Jimmy Kimmel is that he continues where he is. You ignore him, and then his show winds up going into oblivion because there's a whole generation of people that do not watch. I mean, really, I talk to the people in their 20s. Like if I go up to New York, which I'm supposed to do tomorrow, and they don't watch these late night shows. The only thing they know are clips on social media. That's it. Most of them don't have cable, and they don't watch ABC. Like they don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. They don't watch Colbert. They don't watch. The only reason they even know about these people is because these clips go viral, and then they find out that the government's going after them. And then they start debating whether or not the government should be going after them. And then, like what always happens with younger generations, they always tend to side with the people that the government's going after. And in a world of social media, what you end up doing is you actually then help promote their career. Because instead of nobody watching him at 11:30 on ABC, now millions of people are viewing his social media clips, which is worth a whole lot more today than being on ABC at 11:30 p.m. at night. And I know that that's crazy to say. There was a time when to say such a thing would be idiotic. Like you're saying that the value you get in millions of clicks on social media is worth more than having the 11:30 p.m. time slot. In this day and age, it is. Because there was a time when millions of people would tune in to 11:30 p.m. Eastern time on ABC to watch whoever. Now it's, if you get 10 million views on social media, on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and well, I don't know if the kids today still use Facebook, but among the 25 to 54 demographic, whatever that demographic is, it might even be younger than 54, the key demo that they're seeking, that 25, maybe 25. Jared, do you know exactly that key demo that they're looking at?
So the money demo is 25-54, but
okay.
Most of these people target 25-44 because they want to really get the young ones. And if you're number one in that, you can be number one in the rest. But 25-54.
Okay. Which we're doing very well with. I've been looking at our numbers. Our numbers in 25-54 are increasing, which is great. So thank you for helping spread the word. And this is not an anti-boomer thing. You know me. I don't go after boomers. I don't go after people based on their generation, except for Gen Z. I hate them. And millennials. They're annoying too. But
silent generation? No?
Which one are they?
Biden was a silent generation. So
that's not boomer?
It's I think it's pre-boomer. Yeah, I think it's.
I thought that was the greatest generation.
Sorry, I think silent is actually before greatest. We have to fact check all this. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, we definitely do. Well, I mean, there's a whole new generation now that we've got World War XI. Don't forget that generation, that brave generation that fought in World War XI. That generation deserves to be revered, in my opinion. World War XI. We'll get to that. But I mean that's the problem with Kimmel. It's that there are people, like, I'll give you an example. So Annie, who is a production manager for Fox News Saturday Night with Jimmy Fallon. If you heard me fill in for Jimmy last week, Annie was in studio with me, and we were talking about this. And I remember talking to her in the hallway, and I talked to Dana's assistant, Kate, about this, and Bill's assistant, Molly. And it's not, honestly, I'm really not trying to name drop here. I'm making the point that in my world, my bubble is mostly my kind of, Gen X peers and my kids and my wife, who doesn't really watch anything. So I think as a good host, I should be listening to what other people are saying. So I ask them. I go up there and I ask them, do you guys watch these shows? Do you listen to this? For them, no. It's all, they watch reels and they listen to podcasts. And for a lot of them, they don't even watch podcasts. They watch a clip of a podcast and then they'll listen to a podcast. Then they only know who these people are. I remember one day when Julia, who is the greeter, who's now one of Hannity's bookers, said to me, I'd never heard of Stephen Colbert until all this happened. I'd never heard of him. And I said, well, how'd you find out about him? And she's active in politics, like Jersey politics. So she knows her stuff. She just said, I've never heard of him, never watched a single episode of his show. Now I keep seeing all his clips and his reels on social media. So again, that becomes the problem, is that you're giving these people a whole new life in a time when cable's dying. Cable, not even, I mean, they're not cable shows. All right, so it's broadcast television's dying and everything's moving over to social media. And what they're doing is they're hoping for more attention as they make their leaps over to YouTube or whatever other streaming platforms are. And that's what that is. I mean, Jon Stewart's a great example of this. The Daily Show posts longer clips of his monologues, and I looked at them, they get anywhere from 2 to 5 million views of like Jon Stewart going on a rant about something that's 3 minutes, 4 minutes long. People will tune in and watch that, but they may not watch The Daily Show because A, they don't have a Paramount Plus subscription, or B, they may not have cable. So all they see are the clips that get posted to social media. And in that age demographic of 25 to 44, and that money demo right there, that they're targeting millions of eyes, millions of clicks, millions of views. So that's why I think the best thing to do is to just, in many ways, ignore these people and let them just fizzle out on broadcast TV that nobody's watching anymore. And then let the marketplace do its thing, because the marketplace is working. I mean, that's the reason why Gutfeld's doing so well at 10, Fela's doing so well Saturday nights. And it's the reason why so many more people have made the jump into the area of what we're in right now, which is this digital world. Because people are, and the next thing is going to be, nobody wants to pay for a friggin' subscription service. So if the only way you can watch somebody is by paying for Paramount Plus or anything like that, people are going to stop doing that soon enough. I'm telling you. I mean it. That's going to be the next wave that hits. Because as of now, there's 42 different streaming services I got to subscribe to, and that's the big story of the hour. Brought to you by Dr. Mike Veneria, Veneria Dental. Go see him today for your perfect smile. VANARIA, VeneriaDental.com. He's the best. He's my friend, and he is the guy who's going to give you a beautiful, beautiful smile. All right, so other things to talk about. Hakeem Jeffries doubling down on his maximum warfare rhetoric after the shooting of President Donald Trump. Hakeem Jeffries had said that he wants maximum warfare, and he's doubling down on it. He's not backing down on this. Cut one.
Political violence in any form directed at anyone, whether that's the right, the left, or the center, is unacceptable. Period. Full stop. The notion that any of us are concerned with so-called criticism from these phony Republicans as it relates to anything that has been said, certainly as it relates to the comment related to maximum warfare everywhere, all the time, in connection with the redistricting battle that Republicans launched. I stand by it. You can continue to criticize me for it. I don't give a damn about your criticism. First of all, that phrase, maximum warfare, everywhere, all the time, came from the White House. in the summer of 2025 when they started this redistricting battle. And now they're big mad. Why? Because Democrats have decided to finish it. Get lost.
All right. Well, first of all, it would be interesting if he came out and said, you know what, in light of the shooting, I think I'm going to use a different phrase. Like instead of maximum warfare, I mean, it's a cliche and the White House used it. I'm going to use something different. We're going to use maximum effort. Although maybe he gets sued from Ryan Reynolds. I don't know, because that's his production company and the line that he uses in Deadpool. It's my daily superhero reference. Maximum effort. We're using maximum effort. Like you don't have to use maximum warfare, but he's too stupid to realize the opportunity they have right now, which is to come out and say, we're going to use different rhetoric. It's an opportunity, you jackass, that you have right now to come out and say, hey, listen, we want to tone things down and we're going to take the lead on this. Here's how we're going to do it. I used maximum warfare. I should have, in light of this, because there's crazy people out there that hear things and then they think something's stupid. So I'm going to use maximum effort. All right. That's going to be our thing. And I'm sure that if Ryan Reynolds or the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anybody else had a problem with that, they would say something. I doubt it. Whatever. And we're gonna be the ones who show America with the no. And you know the reason why? Because they're very happy with using these phrases. And if there's political violence, so be it. So be it. Honestly, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care if there's political violence. Do you know that scumbag Hassan Piker put up a tweet? I posted on X, that if the president doesn't want to be called a Nazi, perhaps he should stop behaving like one. So as I have told you, when you use the N-word, Nazi, you are going to inspire some idiot who thinks he's on the side of right, who thinks he's on the side of history and stopping the Fuhrer, stopping somebody. And it's not okay. It's not heated political rhetoric. It's not. But they don't care, because if Trump dies, if Trump is assassinated, there are people who will celebrate that. It's awful. You want to know how I know what I'm talking about? This woman who just got fired from her job at United Healthcare, good for her. She worked on marketing. Her name is Allison King of Minneapolis, St. Paul, mocking the assassination attempt on President Trump. Do we have the audio of this too?
Yeah, whenever you're ready for it.
Yeah, let's take a listen to what she said.
Hey, where are the white women at?
The country, when my first reaction to hearing the news about Trump's attempt was, it was probably fake. Like immediately I was like, oh, that wasn't real. Probably fake. And the second was, aw, they missed? So happy they missed. Oh. Yeah, that's sad. That's when you know we're cooked.
And there's your crazy white liberal woman who's now out of a job. United Healthcare putting out a tweet. Since their own CEO got whacked by a crazy leftist, they might take us personally. We don't stand for violence. We don't condone it in any way. Good riddance. And she did marketing for them. So she should be smart enough to realize you don't have a First Amendment right when it comes to your employer. That's right. You can get your ass fired for making your company look bad. And since she's all over LinkedIn, which I still don't get why anyone's on LinkedIn, that's for a whole other show. It was not hard to figure out who she was. And now she's out of a job. So, and guys, she's single. Yeah.
Hey.
That's right. You too can have a crazy, crazy woman who wishes violence and death and destruction. Actually, she's not even that cute, to be honest with you.
Looks like she'd be a real treat to hang out with.
Yeah, what is she wearing? What is that outfit she's got rocking on there?
Those are like climbing rope. It's a bag made, but the satchel's climbing ropes. I don't know. It's a thing. I've seen them around. She looks okay in this other pic.
You think so?
Yeah, but I'm sure she's just totally a blast. I'm sure she's an easy hang, a lot of fun.
You just hang with her.
Yeah. I'm sure she doesn't have any loud, uninformed opinions that she wants to shout at you. She never uses the phrase toxic masculinity in the first opening sentence of a date. No way.
So you don't think she would follow the purple state rule and just leave her politics at the door on a date?
I think she's the people they interview where that's their question, like, to go on the date. Like, they will only go out with somebody who 100% agrees with them politically, which is probably why she's single.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right about that. Just so you know, I am only here to make sure that you don't rape me. That's like probably the first thing she says when you see.
I mean, honestly, she's one where I would go on the date knowing that she wasn't going to accept me buying her meal because she doesn't need a man to provide for her. So that's at least a bonus. Yeah.
Yeah. At least you're gonna get to go Dutch. So maybe she'll go full on feminist and pay for the whole thing. Like, I'm defying all the norms and picking up the check, and you're like, great,
hey,
fantastic, works for me. My masculinity is not threatened in the least.
Honestly, that doesn't hurt my masculinity. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good with it. Go with it. Let me tell you about Emmons Roofing and Siding. My great friends over there, they do fantastic work, and they'll do great work for your home. I love the people at Emmons. I was just talking to my buddy Matt Kelly earlier today, as a matter of fact. They will make sure your home is ready to withstand all the elements and also looks beautiful from the curb. So we're talking about peace and protection. We're talking about beautifying your home with kitchen renovations and bathroom renovations. They remodeled my kids' bathroom. They did a great job on it. And they also take a lot of pride in using American-made products. American-made products, the Owens Corning shingle, made in America. That's right. They use the Certainty siding, made right outside of our area in South Jersey and Philly. They use doors and windows handcrafted by the Amish, and you will love the results. You'll love the pride of using American. You get a lifetime warranty on that roof, on the materials, and the labor. That's right. That's what you get with emmonsroofing.com. So just go to them. I've used them for over a dozen years in 2 different homes and absolutely 100% trust their work. They'll give you a great job. Tell them I sent you. emmonsroofing.com. First of all, speaking of jokes that are inappropriate, I'd like to share with you this joke from this foreigner who was in the country yesterday, who has a very, very polite and haughty accent. He's a king. They all gave him a standing ovation, even though we made it very clear we have no kings. But anyway, this guy made a joke. Cut number 7.
And if I may say so, it is a particular pleasure to be back in this wonderful building, the heart of your democracy. On this occasion, I cannot help noticing the readjustments to the East Wing, Mr. President. Following your visit to Windsor Castle last year. And I'm sorry to say that we British, of course, made our own small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House in 1814.
Too soon, okay? Too soon. 211 years, too soon. All right? Make you a little burn down the White House jokes, pal? Yeah, I don't like it, all right? Maybe it's because I'm Italian. Maybe it's because I'm from Jersey. I hold a freaking grudge. All right?
Ridiculous.
Mr. President, we brought Doraflame just so that we could reenact the moment that we burned down the White House and Dolly Madison had to run out with all the paintings and ice cream. I don't know if she said ice cream.
Our own
anyway.
Small attempt at real estate redevelopment of the White House in 1814.
That's my pompous king way of saying we burned down the White House. Ha 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 ha. I'll be here all week. Don't forget to tip your waiters. Oh, we don't tip in England. That's right. It's all included in the bill. Too soon, dude.
What would it take from that? When do you get past this? What does it take for you?
275 years.
I was to say, so right now in the score 1-1, right? Like 1776, 1812, like, right? It's like the score is tied. I don't know why you're so bitter about the last one.
I mean, we beat them. I like that, but I felt like he had to like rub it in. Like, all right, yeah, you beat us. You won the Revolutionary War. You won the war for independence. But we burned down the White House. Ha ha. And then like, I'm out. And then mic drop and then left. And that's what I didn't like about it. It felt very much like a mic drop.
You thought
like
it was
if you're doing an old school roast.
A ring and dash or whatever. Like ring and run. That's what you felt like?
It was like, remember you do like yo mama jokes? Like, yo mama's so fat, she got her own zip code kind of a thing. Like, oh, that's what it felt like to me. Like King Charles was like, all right, you won the Revolutionary War. We burned down the White House, bitches. Boom. I'm out. Charles out,
So it's his tone.
That's what it felt like to me. So I'm probably the only person who had that interpretation.
So when I saw the clip first time, I thought, what other room than that DC ballroom of people would have gotten and laughed at that? You could tell that joke to 100 different crowds in 100 different locations, and but nobody gets that joke. So the idea that you're the guy that got offended, and I wish he had done your mama is so large when she walks. Like that would have been. I might have liked him after that, maybe. I
mean, if you're going to make a White House, we burned down the White House joke, I feel like you got to go all in and be like, is that the smell of kindling in the air?
He's looking for the burned curtains.
Is it me, or does that area look like it might have some tarnish from ash on it? Oh, nothing. Just an observation. You got to go. I think you got to go all in, So
he seems like a guy with a real staunch comedy background. Like, I think he could pull off a good bit.
Have all of you brought your flame retardant undergarments today?
It's a fire extinguisher.
Just in case I were to light a match. Actually, I would have respected the king more if he had done that, if he had pulled out like a pack of matches and looked at the crowd and been like, too soon. If you're going to make a White House joke about the Brits burning down the White House, you got to go all in. All right? Start throwing kindling at the crowd. Do something. Fine. I'll move on. Eventually. Not now. Too soon. I do want to defend, though, the special forces soldier. Oh, but first, Ilhan Omar. Speaking of wars, the tragedies that were done in World War XI, we as a nation are still grabbing. All right, so maybe we can get past the War of 1812. Okay, fine. Maybe it's time. Maybe this is me. Maybe this is a moment where you say, Rich, I feel like this is on you. You have to move on. We as a nation have moved on. The Brits are our buds. Like we're friends. Like World War II and all that, and all the other wars we were joined in. Like, you got to let it go, dude. You got to let it go. You're like the guy holding on to the ex-girlfriend from high school and wondering, because she left you at the prom. Allie, she did for Joe Grana, good guy, good friend. But anyway, she did leave me at the prom for him. So, and it's like you're still now holding on to that all these decades later. And like maybe, you should stop thinking about it. In the fact that she ditched you at the prom.
Really, what a hypothetical. I like that your story about having to let go is very clearly about how you cannot let go of anything.
Maybe I'm just saying that. Maybe Kristen, freshman year at Maryland, who rejected you and then call you later in 2005 and say, I think we should probably get together now. And you were like, aha, too late, haha. Maybe just move on, But the horrors of World War XI. We can't move on yet. Not yet. Too soon. Here's Ilhan Omar.
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
Jared, what's your favorite World War XI movie?
Well, so I definitely remember the first couple of world wars. I remember them saying we were going to have World War III, but I must have, I guess, we went...
Blocked out 3 through 10?
We went fast. Well, it's like those Marvel movies. Like, I remember Iron Man and Thor very well, but, like, they get real blurry in the middle. I don't know, you know.
When they had Avengers Endgame and they said...
But I remember the last one. I remember 11. Yeah.
Yeah, but when they went, like... this is our 22nd day in space, which is the number of movies. You're like, 15, 16, 17, kind of blurry. Ant-Man 2, right? The Wasp and the Hornet and the whatever, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like that.
It's just like that. World War, for me anyway, World Wars 4 through 10, very blurry.
Yeah. Yeah, 8 was... I think we all agree, kind of a blip on the whole radar screen.
They lost the plot for a minute. But they got back together. They understand.
But World War XI was the one that brought it all home for all of us and forever changed the nation. By the way, just for the record, in World War X, I do believe the Brits tried burning down the White House again. I could be wrong. I'm gonna fact check that. I think I need therapy. Clearly.
I think that you just explained what the therapy is for. You've got a list of all the women who have spurned you off the top of your head.
Well, I didn't tell you about Kim when I was running for president of my class in junior year, and she stood outside the ballot box and was telling people not to vote for me after we broke up. And rigged that election, and I lost by like 1 vote. So, just saying, you know.
So maybe if just Kim had voted for you, you could have been.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a rigged election. It was rigged. Okay, it was rigged. I won, and we should still investigate. I'd like to see and prosecutions.
So just those 3 women, or are there?
Oh no, we could do. There's a whole lot more. I mean, now
there might be. I kind of wonder.
Yeah, it's all bubbling up, kind of like the horrors of World War VII. Like I put a lot of it away. Now it's all kind of coming out. You know what I mean? So she actually took mozzarella sticks and made an 86 RZ outside the polling place when I ran for class president, and it's a true story. So, just saying.
Very popular phrase.
Yeah, indeed. Very popular. It's a good thing that the state of New Jersey and the federal government did not look into any of this before they issued me my firearms permit. I want to tell you about Bob's Little Sports Shop. Bob's is the best, and I want you to go there and see them today. Bob's Little Sports Shop is all about the Second Amendment, about our freedom, and about our liberty. And, you know, not for nothing, but part of the reason why we did do the whole Revolutionary War thing is because the king's 5th cousin or whatever, George III, like it's still a family member who was in Congress yesterday, you know, making White House burn down jokes. But I digress. The point is that guy tried to take away all the guns, and the colonists were like, hell no, you're not taking my guns. That's one of the reasons why we led the war for our independency. So I think you should honor that in our 250th year of kicking England's ass by going to Bob's Little Sports Shop. And they have the best selection of firearms, great people who will take care of you every step of the way. They're really the best. And ladies, you have to protect yourself too, okay? Because there are a lot of nuts out there, and I want you to be able to properly use a firearm, and because they have great shirts there that say, I shoot like a girl. That's right. Bob says merch too. They have 2 ladies only shoots coming up. You can sign up Sunday, May 17th or Sunday, June 7th, starting at 2 p.m. No experience necessary. You can just go, you could bring your firearm or you can use one of Bob's. But you have to sign up today at bobslittle.sportshop.com. bobslittle.sportshop.com. They are the absolute best. They're my great friends, and they're right off Delsea Drive in Glassboro, New Jersey. I was there for their co-ed shoot a couple weeks ago, and it was a lot of fun. So please Do that today, bobslittle sportshop.com. All right. I want to defend this. First of all, I want to defend this soldier who's facing prosecution for betting on Polymarket. But before I do that, I just want to share with you graphic number 3, Cole Allen, the suspect in the White House Correspondents Dinner shooting, had posted selfies armed to the teeth before the attack on the ballroom. This was all in his hotel room. And that's what I mean about as they look at the security and the perimeter and they think about the security of all this stuff going forward. He was at 8:03 p.m. smirking before heading downstairs and attempting to barge through the security checkpoint while carrying 2 firearms and multiple knives. The alleged would-be assassin wore all black getup with the red tie and was strapped in with sheeted knives, guns, and extra ammo, as well as pliers and wire cutters. And he posts all this. He took all these pictures. And of course, you have the manifesto. I mean, the guy's dead to rights. I mean, but I will call him a suspect in the spirit of our criminal justice system. Obviously, he's not been found guilty yet. But I mean, he's admitted he did it. So it's really not going to be that hard to prosecute. But then again, I thought OJ was going down too. So shortly thereafter, the defendant rushed the screening checkpoint on the terrace level of the Washington Hilton with a raised shotgun. The reason why I bring this up is because his room was above the ballroom. And he had all these weapons. And like I've been saying, what if he had other weapons? Now, we're a free country and people are allowed to come and go as they please. And this is a big hotel and it's a huge venue. And it's very possible this guy could have been part of, he wasn't, but who knows? What if he had been part of a larger group? What if they had bombs? What if they had other kinds of weapons? And that's the kind of questions we have to ask ourselves. And it's a shame. We really do. We have to ask ourselves these questions going forward in the future. How do we prevent things like this so that presidents can still be out of the ballroom? Because as much as the ballroom is going to be built, and this is not, they can't always be in the ballroom. They've got to be out among the people, and there are events they want to attend. And I don't know the answer to it other than you can't necessarily screen every person at a hotel and every piece of luggage and everything. Or can you? I don't know. And I don't know the line here that has to be drawn, but they need to look at this because this is another example of the Secret Service lacking, for better part of a phrase, imagination. And it's the very same thing that happened in Butler, assuming that Butler was the legit story we're being told. And I have my doubts about that, as you know, but lacking the imagination of thinking like, somebody could be on the roof of the agriculture building. You know what I mean? And then, of course, you get into the other thing with Butler, too, like the drones and how the Secret Service guy had to call up the 1-800 drone help hotline to figure out how to use a drone. So I'm pointing that out because I think that needs to be said. And it's very relevant to as they do the review of the Secret Service. It could have been a lot worse. That's certainly could have been a lot worse. All right. So this soldier now is facing charges for betting on the capture of Maduro. And this guy, in my opinion, I don't like this. I really don't like this indictment of this man. I don't like this at all. The president can ultimately end this. And I think he should. I think he should just make this go away. This guy's a hero. He bet on Polymarket. So Polymarket's a prediction site, and he bet on this, and now he's facing jail time. CNN, which obviously CNN hates President Trump, Trump's inauspicious defense of a soldier accused of insider trading on Polymarket. I don't know how this is insider trading. I really don't know how this is insider trading. Insider trading refers to the idea that you're at a company and you are doing things that are going to involve people making money in the stock market. You have knowledge of that, and you then make money off of that, having that knowledge. I mean, that's a very kind of, basic way of explaining insider trading, but there's actual market ramifications. This is making a bet more equivalent to making a bet on a game that you're playing in. And I think the president's analogy of Pete Rose, which for all of us, for many of us listening in the Philadelphia area, probably hits home a lot more than the analogy that this is insider trading. Because if I'm at a hedge fund or something like that, and I've got insider trading on something, or if I'm a member of Congress and I know that the government's about to hand down a regulation on something, so I buy stock, like I'm the vampiric one, Nancy Pelosi, and I buy stock because I have knowledge of that, or I'm Mikey Sherrill or any of these other people. That's different than if I'm engaged in a military operation. I don't know how that operation is going to go. I do know, though, if the government's going to put a rule on, say, AI or Meta or something like that, and I get a tip from somebody that this rule's coming down, and I know there's probably a good chance it's going to affect the stock price. That's different than if I'm playing in a game. That's different than if I'm playing in a game and I don't know the outcome. The outcome's indeterminate. And this guy, who wasn't actually even part of the raid, he was just part of, he had access to the classified information. So he made a bet. $400,000 is what he wound up making off of his bet on Polymarket to oust President Maduro. Allegations in the indictment seem to confirm prevalent concerns about the potential for government officials to engage in what's more or less insider trading. I just don't think this is insider trading. I don't think it's the same thing. Like, knowing that you're going in to get Maduro and then betting that you're going to get Maduro is not the same as betting on a pharmaceutical stock when you know the FDA is about to reject their latest drug approval or give approval to their latest drug approval. And you got inside. That to me is insider trading. This is more akin to you're playing in the game. And that's what the president said. Here's what the president said.
President, apparently there was a special forces soldier who was involved in the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro, who was arrested by federal authorities today on suspicion of insider trading and betting on Polymarket. Are you concerned that federal employees are betting on these prediction markets and potentially getting rich?
Well, I don't know about it, but was he betting that they would get him or they wouldn't get him?
It sounds like he was betting on his removal from office, that Maduro would be removed.
Well, that's
it sounds like
interesting.
he was involved in the operation.
That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team. It's a little like Pete Rose. Pete Rose, they kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no good, but he bet on his own team. I'll look into it, yeah.
There's no guarantee that the raid was going to work. He's facing 60 years in prison. I think it's ridiculous. I really do. I think it's ridiculous. And they're also going to seize the money he won as well. They've already done that. That's called civil asset forfeiture. So either way, the guy lost the money. He's not getting the money, which in my opinion, that's punishment enough without having to send the guy to prison. Like, he made a bet on whether or not it was going to work because he knew that they were going to go and get Maduro. That's the extent of the insider trading. The whole thing could have been a freaking disaster. And they all could have been dead, in which case he would have lost the bet. So I don't know. Don't we have other people we can prosecute, Jared, besides this guy? Like, aren't there other people doing things, like actual members of Congress who are profiting off of actual inside information?
There are. I do think that this can't exist forever with these Polymarket things, right?
No.
Like this has to eventually, something has to give. You can bet on it. We could bet on if Rich Zeoli goes 60 minutes. We probably can't. We're probably not on there. But like, I could end I don't know. These things, I just think there's no way these exist in their current state forever because of guys like this, because of bets like this. And I think I mean, it surprised me when they indicted him, but
yeah. Well, because I mean, right now you can bet on anything basically, right?
And also I want to point out that Kalshi is legal in the U.S. Polymarket isn't even regulated by the U.S. You have to go through like a foreign VPN or be stationed in Panama or whatever. But like, to go onto it, you and I can't go onto Polymarket right now and place a bet.
But if I'm a Navy SEAL and I'm going in on a thing, and I'm right before we go on the roof to go get the guy, I place a bet that it's going to work. And then I'm dead. I lost the bet.
You definitely can't. I think all of these, I would never place money on any of these things. Like the NBA, let's do the game one. These NBA ones, what they've found are people around players. They know he's having an off night, or they know his knee's not 100%. And the trainer tells his girlfriend, and the girlfriend tells something. Like, it's inside information. But I'm like, who's placing a bet on if, Rich Zeoli is going to start or play more than 10 minutes. I'm like, I would never bet on that when other people are betting on that with actual inside information. That's what's crazy to me, is why other people are playing.
Yeah, that's a good point too. And then there are ways you could rig this. Like Fela and I were having this conversation, because you can bet on anything now. So you could bet that the woman who sings the national anthem is going to get a note wrong. She could get in on that bet and then purposely get a note wrong. And then, but like, to me, I would find that to be wrong.
There is
I'd have a problem with that.
Lots of evidence that is happening.
Yeah.
That people are betting
Prop
on themselves.
bets, basically.
Yeah, basically they're taking a dive. They're betting on themselves to take a dive or to do whatever. But I think the NBA and the NFL have to figure this out, because I think it's going to affect, like, they're happy because they're getting all this money from gambling outfits for advertising, but people are going to stop watching the games if everybody thinks that every player is point shaving their own scores.
If I'm sitting there in the locker room next to a guy and then you turn around and you realize he's got the stomach virus, and I bet against my own team because I know that one of our players is sick, to me, that's wrong. I think that's wrong.
So there is evidence that, I don't remember the player, but this was, because the NBA's had their own indictments, that a player told the other players that, hey, I'm going to start tonight, but I am not going to play the whole game because I'm not feeling great. And family and friends of the other players all placed prop bets on if that other player was going to finish the game. Like, it's
amazing.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
That's amazing. But I don't know. There's something about this just doesn't sit right with me about indicting this guy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because it's like, you don't know if it's going to work. I mean, if I have inside information that Pfizer's latest fat shot is going to get approved, and I go heavy on Pfizer in the actual stock market, and I'm a member of Congress, that's insider trading. This isn't insider trading. This is making a prediction and betting the U.S. is going to be successful in a mission. Now, granted, I didn't know the mission was going to happen, so I couldn't get in on it. And that may annoy me, but that's the worst of it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he bet that we were going to not get Maduro and then he crashed the helicopter. Like, I would have a problem with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that I do think that we should. Well, again, Polymarket isn't legal in the U.S., so I don't know what we can do to stop it. Right? It's not even happening here. But I do think that knowable events is something that we're going to have to figure out on these prop bet sites. If it is a knowable event and someone with more information than you could know that event, you shouldn't be able to place a bet on it.
Interesting.
Which, to your point, this would be considered a not knowable event.
Right. Because you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
That the military is going to try to oust Maduro Saturday before midnight or whatever, that's a knowable event. But that it's going to work is not knowable.
Right. Fascinating stuff. Well, I will tell you this. If you were making a prop bet on the Supreme Court, you won today because they limited the Voting Rights Act. And I did open the show with this today, but I want to just give you a little more context in it. It's a significant narrowing of a key provision of the Voting Rights Act in a 6-3 ruling, further eroding the impact of the landmark civil rights era law. This is how Politico writes it. I don't think it further erodes the impact of this all whatsoever. I think it absolutely 100% levels the playing field now, because we've had this for decades. Section 2, a provision that broadly outlawed discrimination in voting on the basis of race, had been interpreted to allow and sometimes demand the use of race in redistricting to protect the voting power of minorities. They were purposely making black districts. For lack of a better term, that's what they were purposely doing under the 1964 Civil Rights Act. That's ridiculous. And now it's the year 2026. And there's no need for this anymore, because we have statistical evidence that white people will vote for black people and black people will vote for white people. Like, we know that now. That's evident by the fact that a black man was elected president of the United States in 2008. So there's no need for this anymore. And it is, besides, it's discrimination. If you say, we are making this district purposely so that a black person can win, that is the very basis of racial disparity. Justice Samuel Alito said evidence of racial disparity in the drawing of earlier maps was too weak to justify the use of race to draw the new map. quote, because the Voting Rights Act did not require Louisiana to create an additional majority-minority district, no compelling interest justified the state's use of race. That map is an unconstitutional gerrymander, and its use would violate the plaintiff's constitutional rights. Racial discrimination in previous maps doesn't have to be proven outright to justify using race to draw a new map, but that the past circumstances must give rise to a strong interference of racial discrimination. And then all three liberal justices, they all dissented. So basically, this court did the right thing by saying that you cannot make a district that is purposely race-based because it does not solve a problem of racial discrimination. It creates one. And this was also turned on the interpretation of a change Congress made to the Voting Rights Act in 1982. But I mean, the bottom line is this, Alito's saying, quote, I can just read this to you. Failing to account for political considerations in redistricting can allow plaintiffs to undo a state's legitimate non-racial decisions under the banner of this Section 2. If race and politics are not disentangled, and it's used cynically as a tool for advancing a partisan end, then the noble goals will be eliminated. Meaning you might turn around and you might actually be discriminating against people on the basis of race, trying to use this to justify as your justification, but really what you're trying to do is to just draw a Democrat district. And that's really what you're doing. And you're using that as the excuse. And we all know you're using that as the excuse. You know it, and I know it, and we know it too. So bravo to the Supreme Court today for ending this nonsense. It will have ramifications in other districts across the country. So we will be paying attention as we head into midterms. Have a great rest of your day today. Enjoy it. Thank you for liking the show and subscribing. And please tell your friends and tell your enemies and come back tomorrow. And thank you.
Doing World War XI.
Let's go.